Sensational Saturday. What's going on, my fellow apostates, my fellow XJ Dubs? This is your boy Hawke. You know, just want to chat it up with y'all today. See how y'all enjoying this Saturday without any field service or having to worry about studying for tomorrow's watchtower. Man, even in those days, I never studied for the watchtower. I always knew which watchtower we were studying, and I might underline some bullshit throughout the meeting and give a comment and make it seem like I did all my studying and research, but that was all bullshit. As far as field service, the maximum time I would do was an hour, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. And that was off doing return visits, sitting in the car and never really getting out. And if I did get out the car, it might be for a return visit that I might have had that I knew wasn't home or something like that. When I went out doing door to door, I would hope the motherfucker wasn't interested or would be rude and dismissive, so I wouldn't have to worry about giving no bullshit ass presentation. But anyway, what we gonna talk about today is the upcoming memorial. You know, this is like the J-Dub's holiday. I had already got a couple of invitations, a couple on Facebook from J-Dub family members. I don't know if they know the whole story, but I had to tell a cousin, listen, do not send me any invitations to no memorial. You know, I'm not interested in that. I ain't been to the memorial since 2009. That was the last time I went. And this was right after having my baptism and all. I don't even know what possessed me to go to that one. I guess because my uncle and my cousins and all that begged me to come, thinking that I might have a change of heart or something, and that wasn't the case. That's the last time I ever stepped foot in the Kingdom Hall. And we talking about 14 years ago now. My brother tells me that my sister, who's J-Dub, be sending him invitations and shit every year. Like every year you send these invitations, and every year the people that you invite don't come. What makes you think that all of a sudden 20 years down the line that person's going to have a change of heart, is going to want to come to the memorial? Like, sis, Big Brother told you years ago that the J-Dubs was nothing but a cult. It was a man-made religion, just like all religions. It's just that the J-Dubs is like the cult of all cults. You know? But they be trying it. Then I don't know if y'all seen the video that I posted in the group last Friday. I had a run-in with my mom, who I haven't seen since I left the J-Dubs. She acted like she seen a ghost when she seen me. She was scared to get out the car and everything. Then when I get back in the car and beep the horn, she rolls the window down and act like she ain't know who I am. I'm like, come on now. You know who I am. You know I'm your firstborn. Don't act like that over your imaginary zaddy Jehovah, who we know don't exist. As soon as I say he don't exist, that window went right on up. So, all these years later, you still believing in fairy tales. all these years later. You know what I mean? Her father, my grandpa, man, he continued to soar in the afterlife. He used to always tell her that the J-Dubs is nothing but a man-made religion who takes advantage of brainwashed sheep like her, his daughter. Man, I remember they used to go back and forth for hours. Her defending that cult. My grandpa Gino spitting those facts. Man, that is my OG, man. I miss the OG, but he's still soaring in spirit, you know. Still soaring in spirit amongst us. But yeah, that. And my grandpa used to tell me, he said, the J-Dubs messed my daughter's head up. You know, other family members had told me that too, who knew my mom before she gave her life over to that cult. They was like, yeah, that did a whole 360-degree turn when she became a Jehovah's Witness. Like, this is not the same person I knew those first few years before she converted. See, I was 2 when my mom started studying with the J-Dubs. So I vaguely remember stuff before the J-Dubs and how she was a good, loving mom or whatever. You know what I mean? When I was born, she took 2 years off from work so she could stay home with me and be a good mom. But then when she started studying that cult, you know, all that good mommy shit that went out the window. She just gradually started becoming the brainwashed bot that she is almost 40 years later. You know, and it's a shame. You know, she ran my pop away. Now let's be clear. My pop, that's my OG. I damn near my best friend. He was always in my life. You know, I spent a good part of my adolescent years from 11 to 15 lived with my pop. You know what I mean? That's still my buddy to this day. We was just at the 76ers game last night. And we're going to a Phillies game next week. So my pop has always very much been in my life despite the bullshit that my mom put him through. You know? She accused him of all types of foul shit that I'm not even going to get into. But the worst thing my pop ever did was give me an old-fashioned ass whooping with the belt, which I deserved because I was a badass kid. But a lot of that attributed to the dysfunctional mom I had as a result from being brainwashed by that cult. But the J-Dubs, they played a part in turning my mom against my pop too, because he wasn't J-Dub and wanted nothing to do with that. So they put all types of stuff in her head and how he wasn't a suitable father for me and my sister because he doesn't believe in their Zaddy Jehovah, and how she was better off divorcing him or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, the way she was acting, you know what I mean? Of course she was going to drive him into another woman's arms. You know? Making it seem like he wasn't a good pop and always dogging my Hawkins side of the family. You know what I mean? Like, her side of the family, like their shit didn't stink. You know what I mean? Your own pop knew that you was brainwashed by that cult. You know? But that's the effect that Jehovah's Witness organization has on mindless sheep. You know what I mean? They suck your soul. They suck your brain. You know? I mean, and as a kid, I always knew it wasn't something right about that. Like, how come in all your images of paradise or whatever, it's all white people? No offense, you know what I mean? But you have people of all races, colors, and nationalities. So why are you only showing one group of people representing paradise? Like in all their characters or their depiction of Jesus, there's apostles, angels, whatever, were all white. So I knew right there that something wasn't right with that. Now, as of recent years, people have shown me illustrations of different nationalities representing their paradise, but I guess people have complained over the years, and they're really trying to keep a hold on the people that they do, that are part of that cult. But as a kid, you know what I mean, I always had a lot of questions, and when they would say, oh, don't question Jehovah or the elders or whatever, like, huh? Like, we're supposed to ask questions. Like, I'm not going to go along just to get along. Like, what? I always had a brain. You know? And that's partly why, too, I was considered bad association. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, I was popular. You know what I mean? Because my uncle was a popular elder. You know what I mean? My close cousin, you know what I mean, was an exemplary young brother of the congregation. You know what I mean? Even though we did our dirt or whatever outside of there, but there'll be plenty of stories about that later on down the line. But for the most part, I was the kid. I was like, oh, that's Eric Hawkins. You know what I mean? He's a rebel, but that's because his dad is worldly. And he's acting out whatever. You don't know how crazy it was to hear bullshit like, oh, your dad and all your non-J-Dub family members are going to be destroyed at Armageddon. You know, even though I knew that was bullshit, I mean, that's still kind of fucked up to hear as a youngin'. You know, and all that shit. That's why at 24, 25, I made my grand exit. You know, it took a lot of shit to transpire for me to finally throw down a hammer and be like, you know what, that's it. Because at that point, there was only so much I could take. Like, and I had it up to the maximum limit. You know, I only stuck around throughout my whole teenage years and my early 20s, off the strength of my mom, sister, cousins, uncle, aunt, and my close J-Dub associates. You know what I mean? But shit really hit the fan once I got married while in a cult. You know what I mean? She was brainwashed and already crazy with her own personal issues. You know, again, that's another story for another video. This is just basically an introduction video introducing myself. You know, Eric G. Hawkins, better known as E.G. Hawke or Soren Hawke, but you can all just call me Hawke. Hawke. You gotta put the E on the end, you know. But yeah, it feels good to be out and about on a Saturday and not have to worry about my mom texting me, did you study the Watchtower for tomorrow? Or how many hours did you put in for field service? Or before you go out, we need to do the daily text. Man, I hated doing the daily text. And they would always wait till I was either doing something or about to head out to be like, let's do the text. And you figure the text is something that shouldn't take no more than about 5 minutes. But my mom always found a way to turn it into a half-hour discussion. Like, Mom, I got shit to do. Like, really. You know what I mean? So it feels good to not have to deal with that nonsense. You know what I mean? And when I left the J-Dubs, I knew I was leaving those people behind. So when people be like, oh, you're being shunned by your J-Dub family, nah, bruh, that ain't it. I shunned them. I'm the one that walked away. They're just still in their feelings because I walked away. My mom had the nerve to tell my queen that they're waiting for me to come back to Jehovah. Come back to what? I don't come back to imaginary characters. And remind you, this is all after my queen had to bury her mom, who graduated to the afterlife just 5 and 8 months after her grandpa and grandma, those three raised her. I call them the big three. Shout out to Millie G's Champ and Mom Dukes. You know what I mean? Millie G's and Mom Dukes. Those were my maternal figures in my post-J-Dub years. You know, after my mom went telling everybody that she was ashamed to call me her son because I left the truth. When really, I woke up the truth and facts. You know, but my mom had the nerve to tell my queen that I need to return to Jehovah and that I betrayed them because I dedicated my life. No. First of all, when I was baptized, the brother baptized me the wrong way, then had a nerve to tell me afterwards, well, you did it the wrong way, but it doesn't really matter because I don't see you lasting this anyway. He was one of the ones that always liked to throw it out there that I had a worldly father and I was too obsessed with my worldly family members. I said, oh, I guess they're evil, disgusting people because they don't believe in fictional characters like the rest of you do. But, you know, it's all good. You know, I love my life. These last 15 years trumps those first 24 that I was with the J-Dubs. And I'm not even going to say that those 24 years were bad. I mean, it had its share of bullshit, but I can actually look back on my time with the Jehovah's Witness, and if I was ever had to do the J-Dub shit all over again, I would do it exactly the way I did it. I did it my way. You know what I mean? I didn't not do shit that normal human beings should do because of some man-made cult. You know, I had sex. I did what teenagers did. You know, when I was going to Overbrook High School, it was a lot of J-Dub kids that went to Brook. And Brook, at that time, I went there between 98 and 2001. That was like the Sodom and Gomorrah for J-Dubs, but I loved it. Man, had the time of my life. That's the years I call the Panther Hawk era. You know, the Overbrook Panthers, the Panther is the mascot. Man, I had the time of my life. You know, and there was this one J-Dub who did everything by the book and used to condemn us like, oh, you're going to get destroyed, blah, blah, blah. I wasn't baptized until after I graduated from school. That was the main reason why I waited till I graduated to become an unbaptized publisher and get baptized. The only thing I did do while I was still in school was join the Theocratic Ministry School. And the day of my first talk just happened to be the very first day of my senior year. And I remember, this is another story also for another video, but I'll just put this little nugget out there before I wrap up this introduction video. Yeah, I fornicated that day, smoked some weed, you know what I mean? Was listening to my rap music. So, anyway, this is your boy Hawke. And I'll be coming with way more content. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hawke out.